Lloyd Irving's gonna fuck you up. It's kind of hard for me to kind of, I don't know, the Lloyd voice is, you know, I feel like it's bridging in with the whole Nappa thing, but anywho. I guess since I voiced the things I liked about it, I should probably voice the things I didn't like about it while I've still got this time. We're not even close to being done. I think we're at like a little over the halfway point, but and then I'll get to maybe personal experiences I had with the game. I don't know. My main problems with it is in its story, not the actual story itself. I'd argue that the story is actually pretty good and even kind of tugged me a little bit and touched me in weird ways. But one main problem that I have with it is the dialogue. I think the way they talk was just so weird. They talk so like embellished, and like everything they said was, I feel like, a little too elaborate, and they just talked weird in my opinion. Now granted, the Symphonia characters that have returned for, you know, other English releases, it's much better. The dialogue was fixed for like their characters, like Great Mythology 1. I think the characters have better dialogue and talk better. And in Dawn of a New World, the dialogue's also pretty good. But for the original one, and that may be due to Nintendo's funding, which honestly we don't even know if that's really true, and I'm still confused as to why it would sell better when the other ones wouldn't, but we'll get to that. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, another problem I had with it was this. It's not really. It's more of a problem with the story, because they kept doing like this stupid, you know, the stupid kind of mechanic of like having like 10 plot twists at a time. While plot twists are pretty cool, I don't think they're necessary to have in a story. Like there'd be like, and Kratos is kind of to blame for this. That's one problem I have with him. He just kind of had like that know-it-all kind of quality. Like he was like new to everything, and I get he was pretty old, but spoilers. But you know, still, like there'd be a part where like, no, it can't be. Is that person really? And be like, what is it? And you know, they'd be like, oh, nothing. It's like, you know, it's like they're trying too hard to shock the player. I mean, granted, I was a tad shocked to learn that Kratos was Lloyd's father, but I could kind of see it. I wasn't like, whoa, really? No, that's impossible. It's like, oh, well, that's surprising, but it also, I can see where it works, and you know, the game hinted at that, you know, early on. Speaking of which, Kratos with things, you know. Oh, and this was also the first 3D Tales game, but that doesn't matter. That was really my main problem with it. I mean, some of the characters I felt were, no, that's not really true. There's really only one character that I just did not understand whatsoever, and that's Zeus' sister. She made no sense. I have no idea why she is so bitter. Like, she came off as, like, bitter to me. It's like, what is your problem? And they never explained it either. It's probably better explained in the Japanese version, and I'm pretty sure there's a skit that explains it, but even still, it just made no sense to me. But, you know, those were really my only complaints with it. I am glad that they got fixed, and like, whenever the Symphonia characters would make an appearance in another Tales game in English. I think it just had to do with who was in charge of the writing at the time, or the localization. I don't really know what... I don't know, maybe Nintendo did fund them, but I seriously doubt they had much control. Or if they... I don't know. It's really hard to tell. I mean, to me, it's very clear which Tales game had the most effort put into it, which I've already talked about. Vesperia. But, what I was going to... Yeah, I don't even remember. But, anyway. Now I guess you guys probably want to hear about my whole little anti-Symphonia phase, which I think I've mentioned to you guys before and mentioned it on the podcast as well, which I'll put a link to. But my main problem was just that so many, it was after I played more of the Tales games, like, oh, these are actually better than Symphonia, or they're actually more fun than Symphonia, and it's like people didn't even want to play the others, and it normally it wouldn't bother me because it would be their opinion, but the fact it was like people were telling me like that they had played through Symphonia like 10 or 12 times. It's like, why are you like hurting yourself like this? You're clearly starved for more Tales games. It's like, why not play the others? And even if you don't like it as much as Symphonia, it's still a different experience. And who knows, after you play more of them, you'll probably find one you really like. CGI cutscenes now, by the way. And Kratos talking. Fumihiko Tachiki does the Japanese voice, and Cam Clark does the English one. And Cam Clark's returned for every other Kratos cameo in the English versions. But anywho, so that was my main problem. Just, I felt like they were just like, it wasn't as good as Symphonia, or they would even say like, I don't want to risk like losing my love for Symphonia. It's like they knew that it was better. I think they were just in general like, and granted, the people that I talk to them now, and they have moved on to other Tales games, mainly other things in general. I think it mainly had to do with the times. We were all angsty middle schoolers, and middle school kind of sucks, so it kind of changed once everyone got into high school. But yeah, I think Symphonia was like the first Tales game to be kind of released under like a different kind of group, like the Team Symphonia thing and Team Destiny. I mean, that's more of a fan term, kind of like Mystic for Dragon Ball Z. And yes, for people listening, Mystic is not real. It's Ultimate Gohan, or Elder Kai Unlocked Gohan, or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, but, this was the start where, like, Tales games were kind of made, sort of, in, what do you call it? Like, made by technically different groups. Made by the same company, but, like, there was different teams for it. Which you can clearly tell. I mean, if they ever try to start combining people and just make like a big game like they're doing with like what they did with Exilia, then that's just the way things go, I suppose. So yeah, that was another problem that kind of made me anti-Symphonia, because it's like they were just better. The other ones are just better. I mean, Symphonia, again, is not a bad game, but it's just that the other Tales games are better. Like Abyss, or Eternia, or Destiny, or even Legendia. And I know a lot of people don't like Legendia, but, I like Legendia. I mean, at best, it's just a little cheesy, but anyway. So, yeah, I don't really have too much else to say about the game. I'd recommend it only if you have no other Tales games to play. I'd recommend Abyss or Vesperia over Symphonia if you're new to the series. A lot of people say play Abyss or Symphonia. I'd say play Abyss, Symphonia, or Vesperia, and then work your way into the other ones. Yeah. We're actually near the end of this thing, so I don't really know what else to say besides the fact that there's only one more remastered Final Thought before I'm done. So yeah, Flames Run, aka YouTube Sasuke, signing out. I'll see you later.